Hello guys, so welcome to class. In this class, we're going to be discussing how I'm going to be showing you how this was created, and you're also going to be learning how stuff like this can be created. And you can see I can move this together, I can move this together. I'm going to be showing you all this how it's created, so you don't have to create them and having to move them one after the other, part by part. So you will see how every single thing here was done. So firstly, I'm going to just go back to the home screen. I'm going to create a new file. Click on the plus button, click on custom size, and select 5 by 5 inches, or just enter it if you don't have it as a recent size before there. So first thing we need to do is to bring in the image you want to use. So go to upload in the image section, upload your image or bring in an image you had before. For me, I'm going to still use this very guy we've been using in previous classes. So I'm going to just put him in the size I want. Just crop out the excess parts, that way yeah, I'm good to go. So the second thing I need to do is to pick an element. Yeah, there are two elements I need. The first one is a shape, so I'm going to just come to the size section and go to shapes, right, and pick a circle that I need to use. Okay, so you can see a circle here. Just arrange it the way you want it. The second thing I need is a frame, so go back to elements. Okay, click back there and then select frame. Right, search for frame. You're going to see quite a lot of frames. We just need a circular frame for this very class. Okay, so we need this to be positioned together with this, so make sure this is somewhere at the top here and then drag it to fit in this way. So you see this is very okay, we have them fitted now. Okay, so yeah, you can go ahead and do a whole lot of other things we would possibly want to do. So you can see, so I'm going to just place this image right inside this box by just dragging it. Once I get my hand close to the box or to the circle, it takes the image into the frame that way. So how do we edit this? We can tap on this, double tap on this, and then adjust it to the way we want it. Now you will not be seeing the whole parts of the frame. If you actually move around, you see where the part of the frame ends. You don't want this image to pop outside the frame. You want it to be just within the frame like that. Okay, so once you're done with that, just click on done. The next thing you want to do is to move it over to this. Since we have same size, it will actually lap clean this way, all right, but we want to actually change the color for this, so we have to move this out, because once it's over it and we're trying to select whatever you're selecting, in this case we'll just be selecting this image. We don't want a case like that. We want a case where we actually have this free. Okay, you can also do it this way. Position this guy here and actually use that background as the guide to know where your circle ends, since they are both same size. Okay, so once we get the exact of way we want it to be, we can just click on done. The next thing you want to do is just take it outside and then set the color we want to use for this. So I'm going to choose that same orange color, or rather yellow color there. All right, you can use the color code there, FFB000, to get exactly the same color I'm using here on the screen now. So once you place it together this way, this is what you have, and this appears quite clean for design. Okay, so other things you'd possibly want to do is to go ahead and actually group this together, so that when you want to move this, you'll be able to move them together, not in parts this way. So what do? You go to the more section, right, swipe to the ending of the screen, go to more. Another way to actually get that is click and hold on this. Maybe just click and hold on any of these elements, you'll see the more options. Okay, so I'm going to just go back again and then use that option here, tap on more and then select multiple. Now when you click on select multiple, it gives you the room to actually select multiple things. Okay, so I'm going to just select this. Now when I make this selection, it's actually selecting multiple things, but I want it to lap again just the way it was lapping. So what do I need to do? It only made one action. Okay, the second action, which is supposed to be recorded, has not been recorded yet. Okay, which is the selection is not an action yet. So once I tap back, you can see here I still have, in select multiple option here in more, you still have two things selected, and when we've moved back, we have it come back to the normal form. Okay, even if we continue moving back now, you still have it just with same two selections there. Okay, so I'm going to just go back to the point where it's actually lapping this way, and I'm going to tap on group. So at this point, once you've tapped on group, you actually have grouped this together and it will be working as one element. Now when you don't want it to work as one element anymore, all you need to do is to go and click on ungroup, and that will actually get you completely out from this, so they will still be standing differently. We want them grouped, so we're going to just maintain the group. Yeah, want the group, so maintain it that way. So I'm going to just create a duplicate of this, and then we use it to talk about the second one where we actually have this created and the image is popping out. Okay, so I'm going to just use the circular one to still do the same thing. Okay, so yeah, for those of you actually looking at how we actually achieve the black and white feature, you already should know that. Okay, that should be done on the image even before you start using it. And to remember how to do that, all you need to do is to remember that you actually do that directly from your adjustment settings. Okay, but even with the frame, you can still achieve that. All you need to do is to go down to where you have your saturation and tone it down, right, and then do other adjustments. You might want to add a little contrast, a little of brightness to it, and then some clarity to it. That way you have your white and black view with a little bit of shine. You don't want the shadow to be quite dark, you don't want every part of it to be dark and all that. So just do your setup and you have it this way. So you either do it on the image before putting it, or you select the frame and then do your settings. Okay, so I'm gonna just delete this. Let's still use the black and white version and delete the group, and I'm gonna duplicate that, and let's work with this. All right, so the first thing first is you actually have a group here, so let's ungroup it first and then work on it individually. First, we actually want to have this image to work on this very frame separately first. So I'm gonna just create a duplicate of this so I can extract the image I need. I'm gonna just duplicate it, and then I'm going to go ahead and yeah, click on detach image, so we actually don't have it in the frame anymore. Okay, good. So the first thing we want to do is for this very one inside the frame, we want to increase the size. Okay, if you want to maintain exactly same size, all you need to do is just move around. We actually want it to be moved around and then some parts popping up. Okay, so if you want to maintain exactly same size we were using before, just maintain it that way. Now the next thing we want to do is to drag this over to this point, okay, and place it to lap well, and then we bring this one in, not to actually stay inside the frame. Now this is where your intelligence also comes into play. First, crop out the excess parts that we don't need. Okay, just crop it out so we have the minimal stuff. We just want the head to be out there and blending well with us, for us rather. Okay, so what do we need to do first? We actually need to tone this down, reduce the transparency so we can see the back, what we have behind it. All right, so and then you can zoom in well to see what you're doing very clearly. So then make sure you're not dragging over to the box. If you drag over to the box, it will actually clip inside. You don't want to have that to happen. Like if you drag over to this point, it will clip inside. You don't want to have that. So just go ahead and just move it gradually. Select this and sorry, do we have any wrong thing here? All right, let me check the transparency setting. Is this still active? I guess we did something a bit wrong somewhere. All right, let me just create a duplicate of that again and then work with that, just to avoid any errors. So I'm going to extract that just the way you know already. Go to more, click on detach image, and we'll have that out there. Delete this copy of the frame, we don't need that part again. Then we select our image, crop out excess parts. I'm going to just zoom out so you can see that clearly. Yeah, you'll be doing a lot of zooming in and out just to ensure your work is neat. So just like we did at first time, make sure you're actually not dragging it into the circle. Like your hand is actually not coming into the circle, because once your hand comes in from your dragging point into the circle, it will definitely create a clipping into that frame. So what you need to do now is to go ahead and reduce the transparency so you can see through that way, and then you start positioning it. Once you get matching positions, all right, you might not get it very accurate. All right, if you don't get it very accurate, you can still adjust a little more. All right, you can still see some little points there. Now there are other aspects of Canva you can also use to nudge here. So just come to nudge. All right, you can click on nudge now, but if you notice, the nudge movement is actually much, so you see that nudge might not do the magic for you here. All right, in this very case, so you might just most likely want to position it accurately, just as you may want that here. So once it fits in well, we are good to go. Okay. Okay, so let's increase the transparency at this point and see how it looks. All right, we have a good blend. If you don't have a good blend, you can just make some adjustments more. So we have this, and then we have the background. Okay, so we want to do multiple selections now. So just select an element there on the screen, tap on multiple, select multiple rather, and then go ahead to start making your selection. All right, we've selected 3 things. We want to just click on the back arrow to move it back to its position. So once the 3 are in the position we want, can tap on group, and then we have them grouped together. So you can see this is how we've been able to create this pop out image. And yeah, you can see quite a lot of designs that have this kind of feel. For example, profile, let me just take out this one and then use this to create a little profile design so you see how this looks. So something like this, for example, and then I put up a text, something like make sure you're actually not going outside the margin. So hi, comma, my name, or rather create duplicates and then type the name there. Alright, and then I go ahead and do the arrangement and the alignment to the left, do some little more arrangement to actually get this well. So the little more arrangement could be to reduce the line spacing so it's closer that way, to reduce the letter spacing a little bit. Okay, I want to use a different font for everything here. Okay, there's Montserrat, so I'm going to use Montserrat font, and then we see in Montserrat font, which is actually one of the major fonts we'll be using in subsequent designs. You notice there are variants in this font. You have the thin version, you have the extra bold version, you have the semi bold version, you have the normal version. So I'm going to use the normal version for the first this text, or for the name I'm going to use the bold version, rather the semi bold version. So we have this. Okay, I think we can use the extra bold. Yeah, that's not bad. So I can use the extra bold, and then I'm going to select this intro part and then change the font, same Montserrat, but just the normal version. Okay, so with this, what you're creating is a little variation between the text, so you shift focus to what you really want people to focus on. Okay, so I'm going to reduce the size of this high arm. a bit, and then maybe possibly capitalize this one too. So you can capitalize it that way. Go to the format section and then click on this. I'm going to reduce this a bit, and then here we go. All right, so you can have that this way, just a little bit to the left, a little bit to the left. Make sure you actually not going off the margin. You actually want the content to be out of place. All right, then I can use same format for every other thing. All right, I create awesome designs, feel free to connect with me for design tips and contracts. Okay, so I'm going to just use this as the caption I want to use there, and then I'm going to also format it to be left aligned that way, and then I'm going to reduce this a bit, take down the size a bit, and just reduce it a bit more. So we have that here. So this could be extra captions, but make sure that the caption is not colliding with the stuffs you have here. Okay, all right, I would possibly want to just have this stay separately in a different section. So here you actually have your introduction. Hi, I'm so and so person, I create awesome designs. Your logo can come up somewhere at the top, okay, and then you do other stuffs you want to do. So I'm going to just quickly make something simple, and we use that to work. All right, so I'm going to just create a duplicate of this and then put that up here. Now why I want them to stay separately is so that if I want to actually do any extra styling, I'll be able to do them conveniently, actually not having to disturb the first one. Okay, so let's say I actually want to reduce the line spacing. Yeah, I actually want to reduce the line spacing for both. Just reduce a little line spacing for both, so it's not actually far separated that way. Same thing for this one. Okay, so what I wanted to say is, in case I want to maybe add a background to this very part of the design, I can comfortably do that. Let's say I want to do something like this. Pick a shape, all right, a rectangle in this case, and then same color here, all right, and then push it to somewhere there, and then maybe do something like this, connect it back to the design initially, and then I'm going to be sending this to the back. Okay, so I'm going to send this to the back of this, and this is what we have. All right, now if I actually want to play around this more, I'm going to be creating a circle and using it to create a little variant around this. So the circle could be color white, all right, and then I'm going to be sending it back to create that little disconnection for us. I'm going to be sending it a bit backward that way, not completely to the back. I'm going to just be using backward. Yeah, resize the circle, reposition it. Okay, just to create just that little line there, and then possibly that allows me to make a little other changes, maybe changes to white and so on and so forth. Or if I'm actually switching different colors, that allows me to actually do that color switch very fine. And you can see this gives a different feel to the design. Now I would possibly want to put up my contacts, and yeah, I'm using the font already, so I'm going to just maintain that same font, duplicate this. You can see we're using same font, but we're actually not covering the whole spacing we have here. We actually don't have a lot of activities going on, all right, but we still have a very tangible design. So I'm going to put up my contact there immediately, and then 234 810 543 8331. So that is that. Now the urge always comes that whenever we put contact, we'll just rush and go and put icon, social media icon, or maybe call icon. It's not compulsory. Now if you notice, this design, we're actually doing just a left alignment and placing all the contents down to the left, but that creates a little gap here at the right. Okay, so I'm going to just quickly add up some few fields to actually make this look a bit different. Now, possible things I could do is to pick a patterned image to use as a background. Let me see, I'm looking for a patterned. All right, look for background pattern. So let's say I'm looking for white and black background pattern. You can pick any white and black background pattern to use there, or maybe you want a colored pattern. All right, let's see this colored pattern here, but I don't want it to just sit all alone, so I want to make a duplicate of this to be a reverse form to join themselves. So you can click this and then go ahead and rotate this. All right, or alternatively, once this is selected, I'm going to go ahead and flip that. So you can flip it vertically, and I have this mix. So it creates this nice flower for me. All I need to do next is to make multiple selection, select the two, and I have them as one. Select the two to send it to back, and then make sure I group them together. So that serves as one image for me. All right, so I'm going to just make an adjustment, and yeah, that is that. We have that just like that. Okay, so someone else might also want to play around this to make it have like some more sophistication there. All right, and the person will decide to maybe do something like this. Get a frame, a rectangular frame. Let's go. So get a frame. All right, pick a rectangular frame and then decide to put this inside this. Okay, this is actually not purely a rectangular frame that I picked, but that's just for illustration purpose though. I'm gonna just pick a rectangular frame. I think I can go with this. Rotate it this way, and then drag this image into it. Oops. Send to back, drag this image into it. Okay, this is actually not an image, that's why it's actually not dragging into it. The other alternative I have to actually do this easily is to just put normal rectangle behind it immediately, and then to give it the color I want to give it. So I just actually want to give a color background to this. So yeah, even with the frame, that actually wouldn't, yeah, what I actually wanted to do was supposed to be with a shape. So with a frame, that wouldn't be easily achieved that way. So I'm going to just make this adjustment, position this, and yeah, that is that. We have it there, so we can give it the color we want to give it whatever color, not this place, sorry. All right, we actually don't what I want to do that on this very stuff, so I'm going to just lock it because I don't want to be selecting it. Okay, before I lock, let me change the color of this quickly. Okay, so you can switch it back to the main colors we're using, and then go ahead to reposition this one. So you can see how we've been able to play some little tricks on this, and we have this. Now if you actually don't want these colors and you want to use white and black just to maintain the color theme we've been using here, you can switch up the colors. You can switch this to gray, switch this to maybe black. All right, since we're using a black background already there, you just switch it up and then have other colors there to be gray and white, just like that. All right, do same thing for the top version. Okay, you can always just ungroup and duplicate as usual. Ungroup, delete this one, duplicate this one, and then flip it. Take it to the top there, go ahead and flip vertically that way, and you have the same thing. So we do multiple selection again. Do your multi-selection and have them grouped, send to the back, have them grouped, yeah, and then send this one to the back too, so it stays backward like that. Okay, so you can see how we've been able to use this to create from simple design to something even more serious. If you actually want to give the colors and give some life to this, you can also just switch up your colors and have something more quite simple. And you don't want this place to be plain white, you can also pick a simple texture. Make sure you're reducing the transparency, make sure you're leaving it quite soft. Yes, and if you notice, there's another thing I would like to show you here. All right, when you click at the top here, you would see different options. You can switch this to a thumbnail view, so you can create multiple pages for this. I'm going to just delete that second page. All right, you can create multiple pages. Another thing you can also do is you can also set a grid view, so you can see different grids. All right, for example, for those who are actually creating multiple pages, you can use those options to switch on that. I'm going to just go back to the original thing you have here. So creating pages will require you to tap on that first. That's this very part of the screen. Okay, so yeah, another thing you'd also want to do is saving the name of your file. You can click on that button there. Okay, just click on this icon there, and that allows you to change this to say intro flyer. All right, name it whatever you want to name it, and yeah, that is that. And then another thing you can also have is to save to different folders and all that. Now, but the important thing I actually want to show us here is that there are two key things we need to note here. One is show bleed. This bleed is possibly the areas that will be cut off, or rather will be trimmed off when you actually want to print this design. So you make sure you don't want any text or any image, any content you actually want to retain to be within that section. You can see we gave a lot of space around that. Now the next thing you want to take note of, I'm going to just turn that one off and I'll show you the next thing. The margin. You don't want any content to go outside this margin except it's an image. All right, your text shouldn't go outside this margin. If you notice, every single text we have, we actually make sure we have them within the margin. All right, other content you have, your logos and what have you, should be within this margin. That allows you to have a design that has enough breathing space, and that enables you have quite clean designs. So these are a few principles you should be taking note of while working. That allows you to make quite a lot of awesome designs. Yes, so I'm going to be ending that here. So I'm going to just zoom this a little bit to just make this adjustment. All right, just like that. And then all right, so make this adjustment a little bit. I think that is that. So just play around, make other adjustments you want to make. I'm going to just leave this way for now, and yeah, that serves us all right. So that's how you actually play around with your content. If you have any questions with this design, please make sure you reach out to us in the mentorship group. And there are a few things you are trying out. Please make sure you try out same design structure, play around with it, and get the few structures we've actually explained here. If you don't want to use the circular frame and you want to try out the rectangular frame, feel free to try them out and explore this section quite a lot. I'm not going to restrict you to do exactly the same thing here, but you must respect the principles that you have here. Okay, notice the alignment, that they're actually not going out of the margin. You must respect that the images are not shrinked, yes, and every content is actually not jamming. If you notice, I actually didn't let this content come close to this very one or close to the edge. Give it some breathing space up and down that way. All right, so those are a few things that you should take note of. All right, I'm going to just align everything to the margin, stick everything to that margin. All right, so that serves as our base. All right, now the good thing with Canva is that while you are also adjusting, you would see snaps that will enable you to know that this actually has gotten to the point where all of them are actually staying in same line. So yeah, those are a few things you should notice with this design. And pick corrections. Yeah, your logo can be at the top here. Let's just pick a logo, any random logo, and use there. All right, there are quite some logos here, so yeah, you see some logo templates there. You can always get a logo from and then go ahead and use. We're going to just assume any of the logos here and then use that as a brand logo. Okay, let's say this is actually a brand logo. you have your brand logo and put up your brand text there. I'm going to just create a duplicate of there and name it alright. This is just a sample name though. Yeah, let's assume this is a brand name, so you can have structures like that set up and simply arranged. Yeah, you have this and many more structures arranged and gives you clean designs. You can use that to do quite a whole lot of things. So see you in the next class.